This week on Supercars Torque, it should be a pretty quick video because there hasn't been much happening. Today I'm going to start off with a review of the latest E-Series round. Oh wait, no I'm not, because nobody cares because the proper drivers aren't in the E-Series anymore. Is anyone out there actually watching the E-Series now that we've had proper racing for the year and they're just computer game people watching it? If you have been watching it, drop me a line in the comments there. Is the racing as good with the professional guys at it? I would imagine that it wouldn't be, because you wouldn't have the spectacular crashes and things like that that were happening. Having said that, a couple of those actual E-Series races that were on earlier on in the year, they were actually, fairly good racing with the guys at the front. And the crashes sometimes, I suppose, took away from the racing because they were just so ridiculous. But in general, is anyone actually watching it now that the proper drivers aren't in it? Some news came out this week that I was surprised it was even news. I thought this had already happened, so it was a bit of a surprise. Todd Hazelwood has been confirmed at Brad Jones Racing again. I'm one of those people that just figured it was a thing, it was happening. Congratulations, Todd, on your extended contract. Some continuity there for next year. Funnily enough, this will be the first time Todd ends up driving the same car 2 seasons in a row. He's definitely looking forward to that after the what shall we call the disaster of a year he had with Matt Stone Racing in year one, where they tried to use the Dick Johnson Falcons, and with no setup sheets, they were nowhere with them all first half of the season. Then they went back to his development series car for the second half or the last few races of the year, and then they went to the Triple8 ZB for the next year. So it was just those, no teammate to bounce anything off, bouncing around different cars. It was not a good start to his career. I was actually a little bit surprised he finished so far down in the championship this year. He was something like 17th, while Percat was, I think, 7th in the championship. I was surprised there was that big a gap between the two of them, showing kind of, I suppose, how inconsistent Todd was, because he did have, he had one podium during the year. He had, a few good results. He had a pole position. Signs are they're improving, but as I've said before, it was kind of a bit like a rookie year again for Todd, even though this was his 3rd year in the championship, because of the kind of mess and not having teammate and whatever with MSR for those first 2 years. I suppose it was a bit of a rookie year where he could actually look at, like Bryce Fullwood in comparison. He's come in and, okay, he's going to look crap next to Chaz Mostert, but at least he's in an established team. He's got an established teammate. He can look over the data, and you can actually learn a bit and make some moves forward. A bit like, I suppose, Jack LeBrock as well. It was kind of, again, a bit like a rookie year for him this year. At least Techno had a proven kind of car. Even though it was going backwards, at least they had a proven car in the ex-Triple8 car that you'd had Will Davison driving it. You had guys that kind of knew what they were doing in the main series, where, MSR was brand new to it. But you did see, I'd probably been a bit harsh on Jack LeBrock during the year. You did see him kind of moving forward during the year because he had teammates to look at the data and things like that, where forwards, come in and at least straight away he's had the opportunity to, bounce ideas off a teammate, see what his teammate's doing and that. So, I can only see Todd improving in the future. And interestingly enough, in one of the stories I read about this signing, this was the quote: "It is expected that Jack Smith will be retained at Brad Jones Racing." Well, Jack Smith is there as long as Papa Smith owns that racing entitlements contract. The whole reason of that car is for Jack Smith to drive it. So until he gets bored or he does like a Blanchard and decides to just drive the Enduros and things like that, that car is there for Jack Smith. So as far as I'm concerned, lock that one away. The only question on that, Brad Jones Racing has bought the Phil Mundy licence to run Macaulay Jones. Unless another driver comes along with more money, that's what's happening there. There was someone during the week trying to tell me that the Smiths were going with Blanchards for this 2-car Mustang team. Will it, won't it happen? Yeah, I think we all know the answer to that one. In something that might be interesting for the category over the hopefully for the next few years, Will Davison from DJR and Jamie Whincup from Triple8 will be going and testing a Super Soft tyre. Well, they're not calling it Super Soft at the moment, but it will be a softer Dunlop tyre. They're going to be testing that, depending when I put this video out, today, yesterday, tomorrow. As I'm recording it, it's tomorrow. So this is... I think this is a really good idea. I've been saying for a long time we need a softer tyre that wears out. The idea of this tyre is that it will be good for, say, 10 laps, and then 11th lap it wears out, and then the 12th lap, bang, it's gone, and it's crap. I'm not sure if that kind of cliff is the best thing. Did cause some very interesting Formula One races when Pirelli kind of started, where you had that kind of wear of the tyre, and you had, like in the last couple of laps, guys going like from 3rd to 15th and things like that, because they were trying to hang on to a pair of tyres, where guys who had stopped earlier were just charging through. It is interesting, though, if you don't know when that cliff is going to happen, because all of a sudden your lap time just drops, and if you don't make that call on that lap, you're just nowhere. That will be an interesting part of it. As I've said, though, I think this is something that the category's needed. I'm not sure if we need like split tyre rounds where we have a super soft and a soft. Sometimes for TV, it is interesting, like some of those races at Sydney Motorsport Park earlier on in the year were a bit interesting, just seeing totally random results. That was probably a 2020 thing. The purist in me would like to see us go to a round where they're all running around on the super soft tyre. But the guys who are better at looking after their tyres, they last longer. And those guys might want to go out blazing for the first few laps, and then their tyres wear out quicker. That's, this is a good thing for the category. The hard tyre will still be around for Bathurst and Pukekohe, so we don't have to worry about that. The negative with this is the typical idiots on the internet complaining. We're complaining that Jamie Whincup's the one going and testing, so Triple 8 gets an unfair advantage. DJR is going to go and test them as well. Will Davison's driving, so he gets a bit more laps in the new car, give him a bit of feedback. I was a little bit disappointed, though, that maybe they can't take any data from the day and things like that, but it does give those two an advantage because they have driven the tyre earlier, which they can give feedback to their teams. I would have preferred to have, maybe picked... the problem is because you kind of want a Ford and a Holden team. So if you were only going to have two teams, maybe I might have been happier if it was a Kelly and a Brad Jones Racing, say. But then also you've got to look at the teams who have got the budget to go and run a car for a day, because those two are probably like, yeah, we'll go and do it, and we won't charge you for the car for the day, whereas some of the other teams probably don't have the money to go and do that. But yeah, as in fairness, maybe not pick the top two teams, although they're the ones that can probably give you the most feedback and things like that. So that's hard. Or you invite all of the teams to run around for the day, all of the team, but just one car each or whatever. Not all of them are probably going to turn up because of budgetary restraints, but then at least you do have a bit of a variation. Or you go, right, we're going to run at Queensland, and DJR and Triple8 turn up, and maybe MSR if they want to, and then you go, right, we're going to run a day at Winton, and Walkinshaw and Brad Jones and Kelly's and Tickford turn up, and then kind of everyone gets a fair shot at it. This is maybe not, but the usual Triple8 bashers kind of come out and say that, and then you get the people complaining, oh, well, we're just going to have marbles everywhere if the tyre wears out, and then the cars will crash and we'll have safety cars, and it's just ridiculous. The same people complaining that the tyre's too hard and people can't pass and the tyre doesn't wear out and all that kind of stuff. So, I suppose this is the world we live in now with keyboard warriors. So that's my nice, short, sharp episode for this week. I did end up talking for a long time, so it wasn't as short as what I thought it was going to be. But with the news dying down, it gives me a little bit of a chance to do a few more of those videos, kind of like the Racing Entitlements one last week. If there's anything you would like me to cover, drop me a line down in the comments, supercarstalk@gmail.com, or I have my Instagram account now, Supercars Torque. That's it. The logo's there. Anyway, until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.